Growing up in the space age meant a lot of time spent in front of the TV set watching Twilight Zone, Star Trek, and especially the rockets launching into space, astronauts orbiting the Earth, and men walking on the moon. It was all out of this world. So is it any wonder that I had the Apollo command module in mind when I picked my first trailer? Throughout my own voyages of discovery, I've tried to capture the wonders of the universe on camera, like here in Wyoming. Although my first attempts were rather crude, I'm learning a little more each time I point my lenses skyward. Along with sharing my accomplishments, I'm also going to share my favorite space destinations. Let's start in the Sequoia trees of California. The most magnificent of the redwoods, these wonders of nature share a mountain with one of man's most wonderful achievements, the Palomar Observatory. The architecture alone is amazing, incorporating 30s Art Deco into the design. But to enter the main observatory is like entering a shrine or mausoleum. You climb 3 flights of stairs to a narrow cavity in the center. Instead of an altar, you come face to face with the visionary himself, the man who made it all possible, George Ellery Hale. The 200-inch reflector telescope was the largest telescope ever built when it first peered into space in 1948. The upper section weighs 1,000 tons and takes 32 trucks to move into position. In the museum is the 18-inch Schmidt camera that discovered the Shoemaker-Levy 9 comet in 1993. As a teenager, I was fascinated at seeing craters on the moon through my little refractor telescope. But it took me over 40 years to see a real one at Meteor Crater National Landmark just east of Flagstaff, Arizona. Located on private land, this is a meteorite impact crater of about 3,900 feet in diameter and 560 feet deep. The debris field in the center was where most of the largest meteorite fragments existed. It was actually a mine at one time, with the hopes of finding significant amounts of meteoric iron, but little was found. One thing that was found was this meteorite on display at the visitor center. It's just a small fragment of the 150-foot meteor that originally smashed into the Earth 50,000 years ago. Looking at the displays of asteroids, meteors, and comets reminded me of my own past attempts to capture these objects in space. My first successful attempt was this shot of Hyakutake in 1996. The following year, I managed to capture Hale-Bopp in 1997. But nothing compares to the revolution of digital photography. Nowadays, anybody can capture images of the heavens with a modest investment, a good steady tripod, and the appropriate camera app. As for visitors from outer space, everyone seems to have their own opinion as to what might be out there. Some UFOs are merely strangely shaped clouds hovering on the horizon. And science fiction doesn't help sometimes, as Devil's Tower in Wyoming is more of a pilgrimage to close encounters than it is a spirit mountain for Native Americans. By the way, did anybody notice the elephant in the cloud? Believe it or not, there actually are aliens at Devil's Tower. Invasive species of plants that dislocate the native vegetation and compete for resources. We've all seen something in a late night sky and questioned what it was. I've had my own close encounters recently when an object appeared in the horizon apparently out of nowhere. In my case, it was a weather balloon in the New Mexico desert, and New Mexico is no stranger to strange phenomena. At the heart of it all is Roswell, New Mexico, located near the alleged UFO crash of 1947. It's also the home of the International UFO Museum and Research Center. Whether you browse the photos, clippings, or artifacts, or get a selfie with the aliens, it's great fun for all. And don't forget the alien autopsy. While some may find it difficult to separate the fact from the fiction, there's one TV show that for millions of people was the cornerstone of space fantasy. And yes, I've made casual references to it in some of my videos. Welcome to Vulcan, Alberta. Believe it or not, Vulcan does exist, and it's doing its best to live long and prosper. A little prairie town in southern Alberta, Canada, it was named by a surveyor for the Canadian Pacific Railway after the god of fire, Vulcan. While mostly a farming community, its silos still hold grain harvested from the local fields. To the casual passerby, it's hard not to notice there's something unusual about this quaint little spot of under 2,000 people. If the murals don't give it away, the local information center will. Modeled to resemble a flying saucer, it's a haven for Trekkies and space enthusiasts alike. While the model of the USS Enterprise attracts a lot of attention, the town also boasts a solar park that supplies power to the local community. It was a big event on Earth date April 23, 2010, when Leonard Nimoy made a visit to Vulcan and left his handprint of the Vulcan salute. It was encased in bronze, as well as the bust of Mr. Spock. I saw some Klingons once, but then I took a shower. With that, it was time to leave Vulcan and head to the cold northern fields. A viewer alerted me to a comet sighting recently, so I braved the elements to check it out. Well, I sure hope I'm actually looking at the right thing and photographing the right thing, because I can't see it. After seeing Halley, Hale-Bopp, and Hyakutake, Comet 46P was a little underwhelming. I mean, you'd just be seeing blackness if it wasn't because of the moon just behind me here, but it's just a black void. I mean, thank God there's astronomers that can tell me what to look at, because I wouldn't have seen it. With a little magnification and a lot of enhancement, I finally found what was dubbed the Christmas Comet. Well, I'm sure I won't win any awards for my video of 46P, but at least I can say I saw a rare celestial event. But how about I take a breather from talking and show you my other little things I captured in the night sky. One special effect I used was to light up the foreground with a weak flashlight. At Ayers Natural Bridge in Wyoming, I tried it a step further, lighting up the entire rock face of the bridge. The effect was very surreal. The clear skies of the Northwest are perfect for stargazers, but on my next segment, I had an entirely different goal in mind. This location has nothing to do with stargazers at all, but rather what happens when you view the Earth from space. I sometimes use Google Earth to find possible campsites in remote areas. At first look, this dry lake near Wilcox, Arizona looked pretty normal. But when I zoomed in a little closer, an unusual pattern emerged. Was this a marker of some kind, only viewed from above? Was it a symbol? A hidden drop-off for smugglers? It seems the only way I was going to solve this was go find out for myself. So somewhere out there is the mystery of the star. Wish me luck. A couple of miles in, I came across 3 pillars sticking out of the wasteland. Is this it? Finding nothing from my lookout post, I decided to examine the area a little closer. What were these weird markings in the soil? Was this device used to receive alien transmissions? Could this be a portal to another dimension, like the Twilight Zone? Well, I guess some mysteries just aren't meant to be solved. That's why they're mysteries. As thrilling as it was time for me to hightail out of there while I still could. My last look at the heavens are to those celestial bodies we hold so closely to our hearts. The moon, the sun, and the earth. The moon is a goddess, immortal and eternal, rising from the dark to guide us. The sun is a king, bathing us in light and warmth, the soul of our very existence. But when you put the moon and sun together, the most magical and illuminating experience happens, the eclipse. All those that dream must cast a glance skyward. I hope you enjoyed my tribute to space, and please check my other videos on travel, ideas, and enjoying life. Please subscribe.